ran out of there screaming and crying.
Apparitions, the hauntings in their homes, quite often are people who don't know they're dead.
You know, there's an old saying, people fear what they don't understand. People fear what they don't know.
If you're ever going to prove the existence of a ghost, it's a subjective experience.
They've had seances here, and they claim that one of the ghosts, Emery, is the old bartender maintenance man here that passed away sometime in the 70s. The other two ghosts are supposed to be female. One of them I heard, and they learned through these seances, that she hung herself out of the ballroom window upstairs. Boys at the local newspaper were sitting at the bar. One of them wanted to leave. The other guy says no. The other guy says, look, I gotta leave. The other gentleman says, look, sit your ass down, have one more drink. Well, just then, out of the speakers came that voice, or an old man's voice, is how the way they described it to me, and it said, sit your ass down.
They can hurt you in terms of frightening you, just scaring you. There's the psychological kind of fear that goes on there. They can taunt you, torment you in that way. But I have spoken with people who have claimed to have been pinned down on their bed, unable to breathe or move for long periods of time. People that have been pushed, slapped.
In my opinion, that's where you're starting to get into borderline, getting into demonic. We did do an investigation of a business in Grand Rapids where the entity was in fact hurting the people that was there. There was one guy that had his hand shattered because there was a huge, one of those big long wrenches, like a pipe wrench, flew off the shelf and landed right on his hand and shattered his hand.
You actually see the spirits with them, or you hear the phenomena with them, or you see an object that's on a table and you glance down and it's gone and it shows up somewhere else. You know, those are subjective experiences that are real, that can't be disproven, and you know you've experienced it. Heather Cotillo and her cameraman met me there Monday at 10 o'clock at the Fenton Inn. Really haunted place. Telling the stories of what was going on, she was so scared. She wouldn't go upstairs. She wouldn't do any long walk-on shots because she wanted to stay close to where we were. Cameraman, he was kind of creative and really a cool, funky kind of guy, you know, just loved that kind of stuff. And he said, well, you and Jared are just shooting the breeze. He said to Heather, he said, I'll go behind the bar because he's got this big mirror. And he says, I want to film you guys. I want to film into the mirror and film your reflection while you're talking just for a cool effect. And all of a sudden there's this loud, screeching, howling noise that just continues. And it just goes on and on and on and on and on. And while it's going on, Heather looked at me and she just says, oh, now you guys aren't going to scare me with this. This is just feedback from his equipment. And he looked over and he said, Heather, my equipment isn't even on. And it wasn't.
As soon as we pulled up, we knew that we were wanted there, and just this feeling, the closer we got to the cemetery, the more on edge I was. And walking through the cemetery, just constantly, I was just turning around all the time. It felt like being watched. We heard footsteps, and when we got to the old part of the cemetery, it was just like hitting a brick wall of smell. It was just like this really strong, putrid, like a sweet rotting smell almost. And while we were walking back, the truck headlights flashed on and off. And it's just like, let's get out of here.
Figured aberration, you know, to use a line from Ghostbusters. No. I've never, but I've experienced things that I can't readily explain. And paranormal is nothing more than seeking that which is unexplainable by conventional science.
And I don't automatically assume that every strange thing that happens is paranormal. Okay. And I try to look for reasonable explanations for things before I'm willing to say, okay, you got something strange going on. Any photograph that I've ever taken or have thought had any kind of validity in terms of having a ghost in it, it's never been in the form of an orb. Never. Now, a lot of people have streaks of light and orbs and a lot of ghost hunting societies, and there's a lot of them in Michigan. They'll show you all kinds of pictures of orbs. especially in cemeteries or houses that are supposed to be.
We believe that if there's any question about any photograph that we've ever taken, it doesn't go on our website. If I can question it at all, it doesn't go on our website.
See one.
You would like to see one?
Well, sure. Because I question it. Because, if I saw one, then I could say, you know what, I believe in these guys. But I'm kind of the type of guy that I really got to see one before I believe it. And this other stuff, I don't know. There's a lot of things out there that are unexplained. So.
They can feed off of whatever you are feeling. So if you have an immense amount of fear, they're going to feed off of that. So I'd say, yeah, in a way, emotionally, they can be able to hurt you because they're going to play with that.
At one time, 2-3 years ago, the phone bill was getting out of hand. The employees were using the phone for personal calls and long-distance calls. So I put it.
No, nothing deadly. But like somebody once told me, how do you know? If somebody's been killed by a ghost.
So I put a note up there. I said, no personal calls. I had a big note there right by the phone at the hostess stand.
The strange phenomena that people experience comes from their own minds, their own belief system.
Conscious.
The psychology of their own mind.
I go to the front of busboys on the phone. So I say to the busboy, I says, can't you read? No personal calls. No personal calls.
But really start causing physical harm.
He leaves. The phone rings. Pick up the phone in like a cryptic voice. Cryptic voice. Cryptic voice. It says, no personal calls. No personal calls. No personal calls. Was I imagining that? I don't think so. Am I losing my mind? I don't think so. But maybe I am. I don't know. Where'd that come from? Where? Well, you hear that.